Welcome back to the design studio. My name is Kat, and I want to welcome you to Kat's Creations and More, and also Kat's Creations Wreath, where tonight we are still working on stocking the shop with everyday items, things that have been popular throughout the years with my clients and customers. And I just realized I don't have one of these in my shop, so I thought I'd go early for Friday. For some of you, I have a lot of people that are watching from all over the world, and some of those people are staying up way late just to do that. So this is a special time for this Friday. So before we get started, couple things for housekeeping. One, if you want to save this tutorial, just for reference, all you have to do if you're on Facebook right now is click the share button. If you are on YouTube, just click the save button. Super simple for you. Also, to turn notifications on so that when we do a change of plans like we are today, you won't miss out. So if you're on Facebook, just make sure that you have liked my page and you are following the page. You have to have both in order to turn notifications on. Like is easy enough to be found on the Facebook page. Like's easy enough. I think it's follow that you have to open up those three little dots. Click on those, it'll open up a sub menu, and then you can make sure that your live notifications is turned on, and that's how you turn them on for anybody you follow on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, you're catching this from an earlier Facebook Live. If you want to participate in the live, hop on over to Kat's Creations Wreaths on Facebook. Otherwise, to know when I have a new video tutorial uploaded, all you have to do is click that subscription bell or click subscribe. And I'd be happy to have you guys join me on YouTube as well. That's where you can find almost 600 tutorials that will pretty much get you through any holiday or any season. And there's a lot more coming in the month of December. So I'm going to go ahead and pivot you down. We're going to go over the materials, and then we're going to start putting this design together. It's a little bit different. Okay, so moving you down. There we go. Obviously, you can tell we're going to be doing a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. We are going to be breaking apart this corrugated welcome sign. So it comes on corrugated tin. I don't necessarily like the tin look, so I'm going to be removing that from the tin, showing you how, and then we're just going to be using the welcome portion part of the sign for our wreath. In addition, we are going to be using a natural and white jute burlap mesh. You can get this from Craft Outlet. They're cut into 20-inch pieces. We're going to be doing ruffling because we have a lot going on this wreath. Hi, Valerie, welcome. Let's see, ribbons. There is a bunch of them. So, let's go over all of them and where they all came from. So let me grab them all and pull them all over. So, starting from this side, the 1.5 inch green with raised white stitching is from Craft Outlet. This burgundy or like wine colored canvas ribbon is from Kringle Designs. The two natural, it's like grapes and grape leaves on natural. The 2.5 inch is from Personally Yours, so it's plyresigns.com, her own website. And then the littler one, the 1.5 inch, is from Craft Outlet. And then this 2.5 inch Swiss dot on moss green is from Pinky Jeb, also on Etsy. So let's move these off, and then I'm going to show you. We're going to be coming in for the embellishment part of it with some grapes. So we have the Merlot colored ones. We have the green. There is also, let me find them, the purple Concord. So we're going to be incorporating those as embellishments. You can get all these at Hobby Lobby. If you watch the ads for Hobby Lobby, sometimes you can catch them on clearance. This one I didn't, but this was from, I think, one of my stashes. But generally, sometimes you can even get them on sale. I think these are $5. I'm trying to check. $5 for both, whether you want the smaller diameter grapes or you want the larger bunches. These are $5. But like I said, watch Hobby Lobby's ads, because sometimes you can get these at half off. And then those are a great resource. For the grape leaves themselves, I'm going to show you how to use a cheap technique and pick up a it's kind of like an ivy. They call it a grapevine garland. It's just missing the grapes, but it's got all different colored leaves. This is what we're going to be using to enhance the look of our winery themed wreath. So I think I've captured all of the supplies. Let me go in here really quick and put my website down below. In case you guys have any questions or you need to reach out to me whatsoever, you can do that at KatsCreationsNMore.com. This wreath is not listed yet because I don't know to the extent of what we're going to be doing and how much we're going to be putting in it. Elizabeth, welcome. She said, glad you went live early today. I've been sick. Have to make up the Bible study. It's an awesome Bible study. We missed you. I've been shopping, but not for the winery stuff. I've had this, and so I really wanted to make sure that I could put that in. So we're going to finish wiring together this 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. I've done the first 5 sections. The 6th one, you're just going to take your pipe cleaner and you're going to wire together the 2 closest rings to the inside. Just like so. Just try to find a midway point. It doesn't have to be exact. On the outside, we're going to be wiring together the 2 outside. Now, I use the center and the weld to kind of find a midway point to wire together the outside 2. This way you don't have to use glue to secure your pipe cleaners on. And what I like to do is try to make sure I have about 3 inches between all the outside pipe cleaners. So sometimes I'll just kind of set that there and then look at where this falls and make sure I've got about 3 inches. This way the spacing is pretty uniform all the way around, because sometimes these ones, the 2 right here, would wind up so close that it's almost like they were sitting on top of one another. So you can just slide them and move them closer. Again, making sure you've got 3 inches between the spacing on the outside. We are going to be, I think, removing the inside 6 is what I'm thinking. Because if I need to change that, I can definitely add additional things to wire in our grapes on the sign and the leaves. So we're going to be using the ruffle method. So I'm just going to take these on this natural jute burlap mesh. It has to be cut with a rotary cutter, which means it's going to fray, and it's going to fray where it is cut. So to minimize that, when we do the ruffle, we're just picturing an imaginary line up the center, kind of pulling that together in about 1-inch increments. We're going to take the finished edge. We're going to lay that right in the center. And then we're just going to give it a couple twists. And then whatever's left, we're going to remove and tuck that down into the center. Okay. You don't really have to worry about fluffing these ones or like fanning them out just yet. I am going to do the 6 inside ones first. And I prefer to grab the Deco mesh that has the tightest curl, so closest to the end of your roll, like this one here. You can tell it's really like, it doesn't want to lay flat at all. But by placing this in the center, that curl, because we're going against the curl, it will have a tendency of laying flat, just like what we want. It gives it a really nice little ripple effect. Okay, We're going to go ahead and remove this one, tuck that to the inside, and then just move on. I think there's a lot of people getting ready for Christmas. I went to Hobby Lobby yesterday to look for some items for a custom order that a client wants, just to see if they had anything left. Because normally by the first week of December, Hobby Lobby's pretty well picked clean. But I was surprised. There was some stuff that I was looking for that they did not have. But for the most part, the way that they had stocked the shelves is you wouldn't feel like it was missing anything. But if you know what you're looking for and you've seen it there before and it's not there now, they have just backfilled that hole. Okay. So I like making sure, because I need to start making sure I do this more, is making sure that my shop has what I call everyday items. They are the wreaths that can be used for any holiday, any time, most of the time to switch out in between the seasonal holidays. Or if you're buying a wreath for somebody this Christmas, a lot of times you're not going to buy them a Christmas wreath per se, because they probably already have those up on their door. You're going to probably grab them something that's like an everyday wreath that they can put up on their door throughout the year as they're changing out their seasonal designs. So again, just tuck those inside. Here's our last piece for the inside. Hi Alice, welcome from Georgia. If you guys are first time joining me, even if you were catching this on a YouTube replay, love to know where you guys are joining us from. I've been editing a lot of videos and looking at where people come from, literally all over the world. So I think I'm going to start doing an earlier live to catch the people that are globally outside of our time zone. And then we'll still have our 4 o'clock live to catch everybody who's in the continental U.S. In order to help those folks out. So that they can participate in a live every so often. And so now we're going to work the outside 12. There's a grand total of 18 pipe cleaners, 6 on the inside, 12 to the outside. And now these are just getting laid directly on top of the others. And this is where you can take the opportunity to fan them out. Now, because we know that it is likely to fray at the cut edges, I like to take the ends and fold them over so that those are not being messed with. They're not being fluffed or played with. So it just makes for less fluffing or less fraying if you were to go and fluff your design. Super anxious to see how this one comes out. Believe it or not, I've looked through quite a few of my online resources and I'm not finding an awful lot of wine themed designs like there has been in the past, which is disappointing because I'm not into the whole, like, you know, having wine parties and stuff like that. I want it to kind of give you a Tuscan kind of vineyard feel to it, instead of let's have another glass of wine or something kind of comedic or punnish with the play on words. This way people can use it in their wine room. People can put this up on their winery if they happen to have a winery. Okay, so I am going under, grabbing this one here. Should have had it prepped actually and just pulled out. anything that I can do to minimize the movement in these pieces is beneficial. So sometimes it's just squaring those pieces and making sure the ends are pointing inward. Same thing here. I want to make sure that we can see both sections as we're connecting the dots all the way through. Okay, I'm going to grab this one and pull it out so it is ready for our next piece of Deco mesh. I'm super excited. We're supposed to get rain tomorrow, so that's going to be a nice change. We haven't had rain in about a week, which is odd. November's supposed to be Washington's rainy time of the year, and this last week we've just had really bitter, cold, freezing temperatures, which means in the morning everything looks like winter wonderland, but it's also a lot of extra chores for us because our chickens' water bowls freeze over, and so we have to go out early in the morning and break up the ice and put in some warm water for them, so that's like a nice treat. It's like a chicken's version of hot cup of coffee. Just warm water. Okay, again, folding over the cut edges, and I'm prepping my pipe cleaners for when we come in and we're going to lay in our ribbon. So here's our other piece. I'm hoping that if we have some decent sunny days, I can get out there and show you how to do some window and door garland, because I haven't done that yet in our home. I was wanting to do a live on that, but when the temperatures are good, it's raining, and when the temperatures haven't been, it's been icy, which isn't good for being outside with the cameras and the video equipment. They don't like to work when it's cold. Okay. Oops. There we go. Okay. I just usually give them 2 twists to the outside. And get those ready. Grab our other piece from this side. Get that ready to lay in. Because like I said, it's going to fray. Those little pieces that'll kind of come off from time to time, those are going to happen where the Deco mesh is cut. So if we can prevent that from happening around the outside, which is likely where people will fluff, that should minimize the amount of fraying that happens. Do you guys have any questions I can answer for you? Trying to make sure they go behind the pipe cleaners. Couple more pieces. It's just easier for me too when I'm ruffling to just weight one end of a mesh with something heavy like scissors or wire cutters, just so that you're not having to fight, you know, trying to get your mesh right side up, because it's going to want to curl under. Okay, up. Kind of odd too, here in Washington we have not had any snow at all where we live. The people on the east, where you would likely to expect snow, have had some, but not a lot either. Kind of an unusual winter so far. Last piece, which is always the challenging piece to get in, because you want to make sure everything's folded over so you can lay in that final piece. Obviously you can tell the color palette is kind of like a mossy green and beige, but then we're going to pop it with the purples and the merlots to kind of create a neutral base so that the grapes and the grape leaves stand out. So if I would have done this on a moss, we would have lost the leaves and maybe some of the green grapes. If we would have done this in a purple color, we would have lost the purple ones. They'd be hard to find. Okay, so with that being said, there is our base. Right now this is currently about 25 inches. We're going to come in and lay in our ribbon tails right now. So let me show you what we're doing. We're kind of doing this sheer shimmery Merlot or burgundy color, 1.5 inch cut to 19-inch pieces. Our 2.5 inches are cut to 13 inches. That's a little different. These two are the pairing, and then we're going to be pairing the 1.5 inch grapes with the Swiss dot on the moss green. So we're going to be toggling these all the way around. So the first thing I do, I dovetailed everything so you don't have to watch me cut them. We're just going to fold them in half so that I know right where the midway point is on that ribbon. I'm going to place this directly in my pipe cleaner, one twist. I'm going to fan that to the outside. I'm going to take the shimmery Merlot color. We're bringing our dovetailed edges together and going up about 2 inches. We're going to gather in. So we have a nice little loop. That's going to go directly inside here. And we're going to give it a couple extra twists. We're going to open this. And then we're going to right side. For me, it's always the left side, so the left portion of my tail, so that we can see both ribbons equally. I'm going to leave these in because sometimes I like to add the grapes if I wire them in, because I hate gluing things. I'm just not a gluer. I will glue some things in, but if I can avoid it, I try to. So having those there means that when I get ready to put in my clusters of grapes, I can just wire them in, because the pipe cleaner is already there and they're already wired directly to the frame. Come in, pinch inside, lay that directly in here, a couple twists. We're going to open our loop and then right side our ribbon, just like so. Depending upon what you want, if you want the green on the outside, you can move the green to the outside, or whatever strikes your fancy. So I always make sure I have plenty, like I'm preparing these to be cut off in the event that I don't need them. because then I could go around real quick and just snip them all off. So just one twist there. Two inches from the top. I'm going to gather in, place that right inside, couple extra twists, open our loop, and right side our ribbon. Trying to keep our pipe cleaners out to the front too, so I'm pulling them forwards so they're easier for me to find. And you can see right here, the Deco mesh is kind of fighting me. So it's really simple. Just go in and redress your Deco mesh. Get them tucked back where they need to be. So that you can come in uninterrupted and put in your, these are what I call half bows, because they're only a single set of loops. I created them because whenever people were putting like double ribbons, like they would put in 1.5 inches combined with a 2.5 inch, and they would just kind of do little X's. I always felt like it was a little odd, like, hey, it's kind of missing something in the center. So I came up with half bows. Straight up the center. Just one complete twist. We don't have to over twist it just yet. Pinch that in. I'm going to see how this one's sticking up. We're going to address that because it's in a place where I don't want it. So I'm going to take it and fold it directly down. And then now it's out of my way. Same thing, gather right up the middle. I'm almost out of this grape ribbon and I've been unable to find it just about anywhere. I think it's been discontinued because they've had it out for so long. And I know they won't keep ribbon out forever, although I really wish on some seasons and styles that they would. Like grape ribbon. It's just nice that way. Pinch in. I haven't even decided if I want to add raffia to this or not. I might get your opinion to decide whether we should or make it a hard pass. Okay. Here's that ribbon doing, or the mesh doing that same thing. Just redirect it. You guys don't have any questions? What are you guys working on? What are your plans? Are you guys like actively preparing for Christmas, trying to get shopping and decorating and all of the things accompanied with that finished early so you can enjoy the holiday. I have officially finished Christmas wreath making, wreath designs. I am done unless it's a custom order. And I still have a lot of designs I really wanted to do, but didn't have an opportunity to get to. And so every month I generally make about 12 different designs. So that's a lot to do. It's 3 a week. So we really worked on a lot of winter, a lot of Christmas designs. We've been doing Christmas since July, August. I still have Christmas shopping left to do. That's what I'm going to try to get a jump on this weekend. Not sure how my husband's going to feel about going out and going shopping. Oops, I need this one. Yeah, I'm trying to take, I want to bring more of the purple to the outside, a little less of the green. That's just my choice, but the customer can definitely bring more green out. If, like maybe they have like a green door and they want to see more of that pop, then all you have to do is just redirect the green ribbon and make that come out and lay it on top. Okay, this was the last of this ribbon combo. So this one is all finished. And then we're coming in with the last green. And we'll gather that up. Place that inside. So this is what I'm saying. If you want more green, bring the green ribbon out from underneath all the grapevine. Okay. So because I don't want the green featured, I'm just laying it under the other. Just kind of doing this little flip-floppy thing. Just like that. And yes, all those pipe cleaners will eventually go away. Okay, let's make the bow. So we're using the Bowdabra. And we're going to put in our green first. So the green, and then the grapes, and then the beige, and then it's going to go, I think, moss green, then the Merlot, and then the grapes, possibly. Let me look. Might want to separate. I think I like that pairing better. So I always lay out my ribbon ahead of time so I know which one is going in my bow maker first and which ones will come later. So we're going to start with a dovetail edge, which is just take your wired edges, bring them together, and you're going to cut on the folded side, and you're going to take that all the way down to the wired point. Now, I like my dovetails pretty deep, so I come up a little higher on the folded edge because I want that deep V. If you don't want it so far, you don't, when you fold it, you will just kind of come down a little shallow on your cut. So I'm going to be measuring this at 10 inches. And then I'm going to twist. It's being laid directly in the Bodabra. And so I'm going to do 5-inch loops. Stretching that out. Well, I'm going to go 5.5. Because I've got some pretty sturdy ribbon that'll support that extra width. So we'll do this one 5.5. I just gauge it, but then I bring my Bodabra up and line it up on the 10-inch mark, and then stretch this out and make sure it winds up at 5.5 inches, and then bring this back and make sure we're cutting this tail at 10 inches. There's that one. Okay, now we'll grab our grape ribbon. Let's go ahead and put a fresh cut on that. We will dovetail the ends. This tail length is going to be 9.5 inches. So we're going to gather at 9.5 and twist. Now our loop size is going to only be 5 inches this time. So just gauge where you think that is, bring it up, measure it, and if it's right on the money, you're good. If you need to adjust it, you can pull in more or take more out. So right at 5, and then back out to 9.5, and we'll dovetail the end. And I've been doing my bows, like following that same procedure every single time since I've been making bows. I always dovetail so I don't forget. Now we're going to take that dot ribbon, same thing, dovetail the end. This one's going to be 9 inches long for our tail length, and we're going to be doing 4.5 inches for our loop length. So when I say 4.5, it's when I line this up at the 10, stretch this out. I want the end to kind of come right here at 4.5 inches. Going to do the same on the other side. Just verify. That was a little closer too. It was like closer to 4. And then take this out all the way 9 inches. Dovetail the end. And for the most part, I pretty much always do 6 ribbons for every bow. This way you're using less of the ribbon, and then you're having a more fuller looking bow because you're seeing a whole bunch of different colors and textures rather than just 1 or 2. Okay, this one's going to be 8.5 inches. Going to measure in, twist, and this one's also going to be 4.5 inches. So because we've already done that on the dot ribbon, putting our fingers in both and then pulling allows me to make the adjustments without having to measure. So I can just pull this back. Trying to get a better twist. And then we need to measure this back out to 8.5. There we go. dovetail cut. Okay, those two are done. Now we're going to do that raised white stitching ribbon. This is a 50-yard spool. This is how much I actually like this color and the pattern. This is going to be 8 inches. And we're going to do 4-inch loops. Right there. Up and over. And then back out. Do the dovetail end. Okay, where'd the pin go? Here it is. And then now we have the last of our grape. So this one's going to be a 7.5-inch tail and a 3.5-inch loop. And just making sure everything's stacking up nice inside. A little shy. I always like to see my ribbon because sometimes I can gauge it just by how it lays on the ribbon before. This one is out 7.5, and all of our ribbon is in for this design. Okay, we're gonna grab a beige pipe cleaner, fold it into a U. We're gonna grab everything on both sides of the stack and compress. Then just reallocate your fingers where they're positioned so you can drop your pipe cleaner down. Then we're going to hold it at the bottom, and then we're just going to twist the stack. So hold the pipe cleaner still and just twist your stack. And now we're going to fluff. Grab my fluff board. And I'm going to go ahead and add my cup hook to this, just like that. This is a 24 by 24 inch by 1 inch thick cutting board or piece of lumber that's pre-cut. I just turned it into a fluff board. Because this bow is going to be kind of in the upper left hand corner, we are going to separate loops from tails. So I'm going to start with the tail to the left and the loop to the right on the first half of the stack, the top. And then at the bottom, I'm going to do opposite. So the tail's going to go to the right and the loop to the left. This way they're directly opposite each other. Okay. From here now, we're going to take our tail, move our tail to the right and our loop to the left. Find it on the other side and do opposites. So what you're seeing is now we're alternating the tails and alternating the loops based on color. So from here, we're going to follow the green. So tail to the left, loop to the right. On the opposite side, switch. So they're opposite. Okay, now our Merlot is going to follow that. So we're just going to follow the grape pattern. So this one's going to sit on here, and we're going to pull it out sideways. And then from here, I'm going to put the green on top of that, otherwise it starts to stack the same color purple. So I'm going to pull this one to match that Merlot color, doing it here. And then our grape color is going to follow the polka dot, just like this and just like that. So here is all my ribbon tails, just like that. So what we're going to do to fluff is now we're going to lift the top two loops on the top side. We're going to round out the loops. We don't want creases on our tails or on our loops. We don't want to see flats. We're going to see nice little rounds like that. So pretty. Okay, then we're going to do the next two. I actually want to bring that Merlot into the center between these two. So when I do that, I'm going to have to do it on the opposite side. So it will match. And so now you see how we're starting to get height, ignoring the tails. Okay, from here, I'm going to grab the bottom two. And I'm just going to round those out. Same thing here. Put your fingers in them. And then really round them out, ignore the tails, and just start placing where you like all of your loops to go. Okay, you can mix your tails if you want in. I prefer to keep my tails off to the side. So now I'm going to put the little arc back in them. So when I go and lay this bow on my wreath, it's going to follow the natural pattern of the mesh as it goes down around the wreath. So super simple to do that. Just pretend your fingers are like scissors, and this is curling ribbon. And then you just position it any way you would like. This is where having a really pretty board just allows you to make really beautiful bows. And if you were to take a photo of this to sell that, this is already done. It's already staged for you. So that is our bow. It's just going to go off the same way it went on. And now we're going to prep our sign. So on this sign, it's got that corrugated piece with this little arch thing. If you flip it over, you'll notice that there are two wires. There's one right here and one right here. And that's the only thing holding that to that corrugated metal. So as you can see, voila. You can hang onto this and use it for something else. I have yet to find a use for it, but I am going to trim these off. So let's see if my regular wire cutters can do it with ease. Try to get it as low as possible. And then I'm just going to take my needle nose pliers, kind of flatten the ends so they're down on the board. Now, I'm going to go ahead and affix my business card to the back. Just like so. And then we're going to go ahead and pop holes in our sign. So I'm going to use a beadsmith metal hole punch and some 22 gauge floral wire. Let's still fill that. There we go. Slipped. There we go. Okay, so hole punch, just like a regular hole punch on paper. I'm gonna punch that right inside. These are 1.5 millimeter metal hole punch. just like that. Now I'm going to grab my 22-inch floral wire, and the reason why I prefer this is it goes through that jute mesh pretty easy. Sometimes with pipe cleaners they get hung up on one little thread in that jute and just cause you hours, not hours, causes you a lot of frustration. Okay, so now we're going to take our wire, and I'm just going to start to twist right over the holes on the back side. That keeps my wire from wanting to like come out the side. So like instead of pulling our wires out this way, you notice I have built them on the back. That keeps the sign flat. This allows it to become a spinner. So it also helps us hold or hide the wire a little better. Okay. Now we are going to do the same thing. A couple little twists. And I put about a 1/4 inch lift on that. I'm going to grab our wreath. Oops. And remember those pipe cleaners we had in the center? Like this one right here? I am going to place my wire inside on either side of that. I do like to make sure that I have my wire going through the Deco mesh and not in between the spacing. So not a heavy twist, just a really light one until we get this side in. So here's our pipe cleaner on this side. Same thing. I'm going to pull my Deco mesh forward so that when I am running my wire, it goes through the mesh. And through the other side. Okay, just like that. I don't want it to sink all the way down to the bottom. So just a little bit. Just want to make sure that it's evenly spaced. And then I can twist this one a little bit more now that it's kind of found a home. And then we're going to go ahead and put our bow on, which is going to be right up in here. So if I place my bow directly on top of this, it's going to float on this mesh at the height where the edges of the mesh are. And I don't want that. So what I'm going to do on this side is I'm going to tuck my mesh directly under the sign. So that now I have a clear space where I don't have anything lifting my bow up. And so here, now that I know where my mesh is, I'm going to pull my ribbon tails or the half bows down. I'm going to kind of place this right up in here. It's kind of where I want it to go. So just bear with me a moment while I get my pipe cleaner through there. I think I have it. Have one. I think I have the other. But then I let go. Where'd it go? There you go. Okay. So now I'm gonna put everything in order so that I can frame my sign really well, but not impact the words. I'm going to fluff out all my ribbons so that they make a nice See, this is what it wants to do. It wants to elevate this much up. So I'm going to tuck this just below so I can get this to lay where I want my ribbons to lay. Okay. That is a nice little look. Okay, now we get to decide where we are going to start embellishing. So with those grape leaves, a lot of times I have a lot left over, like little pieces here and there. So I like to come in and take little pieces, as long as sometimes the leaves don't face in the same direction as I want. So this will give me an opportunity to kind of customize my own design. So let me pull this one back right in here. And I kind of want to just dust the edge of my sign, because then this will also help camouflage our wire. So I'm just going to lay that right on the edge. Okay. And then I'm going to come in with a couple other pieces. So I'm just going to border that real nicely with some. I thought I had another one. Didn't I? I could have sworn I had one little leaf. Let's try these. Sometimes. Because this is where we're actually going to attach a bunch of our grapes. So I am just kind of creating a set of grapevines, because I don't like the ones that come on the grapes. So there's that one. Let's see how these ones are a little bit more dark. So let me show you. These ones are a little darker, so I like the lighter look. And these ones are a little too big. So they come in a whole bunch of different shades. So super dark, obviously getting a little lighter. This is where I'm going to have to actually cut them off of my vine, which is not an issue. But there's always that one that's in the wrong direction. Okay, and so now I'm just gonna kind of cascade these ones off to the side. Let's see, kind of looking at what is the touch points, meaning where would I apply the glue if I wanted it to stay there. So it's going to be right here at this junction, and it's going to actually affix to my Deco mesh. Kind of goes in a little pocket, just like that. Okay, and I know, let's see, got one there. I don't want that one. I think I'm going to forego there. Let me attach my grapes first in those two locations. So I think I want, and your grape clusters can be really super big, but you don't need to have like a super big bunch. Like I like adding little smaller bunches, like this, is going to go in here. So I can actually, because there's like a weird little grape right here. This is part of how that hooked into that big piece. And I'm actually going to let this one, I'm going to kind of pull it because I want it to hang. Just like that. Okay. Then same thing with the other side. You can just find, there's some weird looking ones on here. I'm going to remove those. It's kind of like, I guess, if you were balancing, just like making my own like little cluster. So this one's going to kind of come in here. This will go here into that little, because I like having little ones because then I can take those and kind of tuck them around the ribbons or the half bows down here at the bottom. They can have little clusters with their own little grapes. So for this one, I think I want to actually wire this one in. So I'm just going around my grape like so. Nice little twist. And then I'm going to take this all the way to the bottom. Going over my frame. And I'm going to secure that in. Because that's not going to come out no matter what you do. So it's just this nice little cute cluster right there. Okay, so I am going to be removing the pipe cleaners so far on the ones that have the grapes. So where they're beige, I'm going to be removing those. So I'm just cutting off the excess, wrapping that tail around the back. Okay. Flipping this behind. Just make sure to get all the glue threads out. Flip this one around. I've got one under here. Okay. Nope, nope, got all those. Okay, so there is that for now. Let me look. I want another set of leaves. I wish they would just wind up the way that they're supposed to, so that I can actually wire them in. We're going to take and pull that behind. So now all we see is that nice, cute little cluster. And I'm going to get a little bit bigger bunch. So I'm going to cut this from the main vine. And I'm just going to attach it with one of the grapes. Right into the center there. We're going to still come in with different colors, I promise you. But for that, that's kind of what we're doing. Although if you wanted it to, you could just make it a Merlot themed design. These ones are too big. Time to cut another one. So here's a little bit different. Going right between. And before I put that one on all the way, I'm going to actually remove the leaves. And then it's got a little hole. So I am going to see if I can get that. Looks like it's going to work to go all the way down to the center. Oops. We're going to take this, wrap that behind so that our grapes, I really need this leaf to lay flat. There we go. Okay. This one's up in here. Doing the same thing. Now we're going to change out, I think, the color of the grapes. What do you guys think of it so far? I'm always trying to see if I can wire them in. Sometimes I can't. This one I think we're going to go with some green. So these are going in. Oops. There we go. I got a stubborn piece of stem that just won't stay down, so sadly we're gonna need to glue him into place so he'll stay where I need him to go. Get these leaves under our grapes. Sometimes you gotta finagle some. They just don't want to cooperate. Okay. From here, and I'm going to try for a different color here so that we don't have like purple and then green. I'm going to try to find a couple dark purples that maybe we can put here. Let's see. There's a bit bigger. So I'm going to use one of the grapes to anchor. And that's going to be that part. So we've got the Concord Still fluffing all my loops as I go around. And we've got one right here. And these ones we're just going to use our leaves. This one's kind of under a bow a bit. Okay. So let's see if we can get this one. Okay, let me see what I want, because normally I hang a cluster here, which I kind of like that color, but we also have this. I really like the purple though, right here. But it's got these weird leaves. So let me see if we can wire that whole cluster in. This way, no matter what the wind does, those won't come out. And these will kind of cascade down off this side. Okay. Let's pull that. Let's add a couple more leaves to the top. Kind of like in here. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and glue here. We're going to add that right inside our Deco mesh, just so it can feel more grapevine-ish. So I've got that one. Let's add another little cluster of the green. Try to find just like so, and we'll add the green in here. So I've got that. We're going to add, I'm going to take one of my big grapes, or maybe two. I'm going to put a couple of the big grapes. Now it's going to go inside. And then we're going to take a little bit of our Merlot color. Just like that. So we've got a couple of our leaves. So I want to tuck those in, but that stem is a little too long. So it's the leaves gonna get tucked right into the side here. Same thing with the other side. Just like that. So we've got Concords, we've got Thompson, we have the Merlot, and then I think I'm going to take this one and actually hang this last bunch right here. And I have removed my pipe cleaner, sadly, but it's not a crime. I'll show you how we're going to add this we're just going to feed our pipe cleaner through. Give it a couple twists. Okay, then we're going to, because we know where our pipe cleaners are, because we put our pipe cleaners in. Yep. There's this one, and I'm going to go right around the loop. And I want to pull that up nice and snug. So let me just double check, make sure that I have them, but I want a bigger bite on that frame, so I'm gonna pull through two frames because of the weight on the grapes. Okay, so now these will actually hang this way. They'll actually hang diagonally. So let me show you what it looks like when we put it on the door. Let's see. I'm trying to decide. Hang on. Normally I don't. Let me look at this once we get it on the door. So I'm going to pivot you up. Usually I do like odd number clusters because odd numbers draw your eyes towards the design, which is why I do things in 3s or 5s or never even, never symmetrical. So let me make sure we have all of our glue threads out. It's so much easier for me to fluff here on the counter. Let me show you what it looks like on the door. So these are the ones I never attached, but I found them. So prime reason for a dark door is so I can see the things that your eye misses, because you're looking at things on a white or light surface. But see how these grapes now hang in clusters all the way through? Just like that. Okay. Trying to make sure I've got, I don't have it on the hook quite. Gotta go up and over. There we go. Helps if you actually hang it on the hook and not on the frame. So what do you guys think? This is a beautiful welcome. Trying to get all the glue threads out and actually just I'm gonna attach that back in there. It didn't come out. It was just one of the little globs that we had. But since it's there, and I can make the bunch a little thicker, I'm going to do that. So what do you guys think? That is how you take an ordinary welcome sign and you can elevate it with a theme that you're not really thinking about. Like, never would you have ever thought that I would use that sign to create a winery wreath. Yet it works perfectly. And keeping the Deco mesh neutral allows me to come in if I wanted to add more plums, so that we were like really focusing more on the Concord grapes. If you were focusing mostly on Merlot, you're going to stick with your reds. Obviously, your Thompson grapes. I like having a blend of all of them so that you can, you know, if you were doing a winery or a tasting room, you have all types. You have the whites, you have the reds, and you have your plums or whatever the darker plum purple colored wine is called. But I absolutely love making these. So we've covered all the materials. I can't wait to hear what you guys think, but I hope you guys like this tutorial. Thanks, Elizabeth. She says, you are amazing, Kat. I hope you feel better, my friend. And I'll be praying that you feel better over the weekend. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.